Hello everybody, Travis Felver from the Club Hub here to give you a quick user's guide on the activities eMarket that we're setting up. So, to dive into it, first we're going to talk about the intent, because for any project to be successful, we need to have a very clear idea of why we're doing it. First off, this will be the one-stop shop for club fundraising needs. Ideally, if everybody gets their club fundraising stuff here, then people not only know where to go in order to sell things to the general populace, but people will know where to go to buy things. Much the same that Win works as a great organizing point for, events and activities, the eMarket will work for fundraising. This is a marketplace that promotes social distance. Right now, we've got a bit of an issue with nothing being in person. That hurts a lot of activities worse than others, fundraising being one of them. By having a site like this, it will become easier to sell to a larger community because we'll be removing that need to be there in person. And it's a place to sell bigger products. A lot of times I've heard ideas that for fundraising, but the actual product that you're going to be selling is too big to store effectively or requires more seed money than you think you have available. Through the eMarket, we'll be able to actually sell those products. More on that in a bit. And this is a portal for organized sales. Once your club registers to be on the eMarket, any money that is spent on your products will go directly into your club account. We'll get into the actual process of how this works, but this prevents you from needing to worry about, do we have a Square account? I shouldn't be using Venmo, but what else can I use? Type of questions. So moving on, products that are possible. First off, we have apparel, obviously. T-shirts, hats, sweaters, sweatpants, socks, whatever you can think of. Stickers. I highly recommend everybody do a sticker pack or two. This is a great place to put your club logo, because then people can put it on whatever they want. Printed goods. Canvas bags, battle mats, whatever you can think of. Tickets for things like your concerts and your heritage dinners, things like that. This is especially great because then, as mentioned, not only does the money go straight into your club account, but you'll have a detailed backup list of who's all bought tickets. Confirmation emails can work as proof of purchase. Everything's great. Speaking of, membership dues. Once you put it up on the market, it stays up until you tell us to take it down. Which means if you want a great portal to send people to in order to pay for membership, it's there. And honestly, if I tried to spend time thinking of everything you could put on the market, we'll be here all day. So if you can think of what you want to sell, for the most part, we can make it work. So then we're going to talk about the process of how to get things. The first thing you want to do is design the product. Okay? Using, let's say, t-shirts as an example. What logo are you putting on it exactly? Is it going to be color? What type of material is a shirt going to be? What cut? These are all questions you need to ask. Okay? Now, with this, you can work with the Publicity Center, and they'll help design your logo for you. They'll help get you in contact with, or even a lot of times, contact them themselves, print services and print shops and whatnot. This makes the process a little bit easier, but it's, of course, the first step. Then, making the product. This is where things get divided up a little bit. If it's something that is being made to order, using t-shirts as the example, you don't have any in stock at the moment. But now that you've worked with the Publicity Center and gotten all of that done, you know how much or what needs to go into it. So if you're working with Publicity Center, making and designing goes together. If it's something you're going to make on your own and then sell out, this is where you need to decide, are you going to make them to order, or are you going to create a stock and then sell from there? When we get to the form, you'll see that we put spots for you to answer that question. So more on that. And then if you already have a stock of things that you want to sell, On the form, you'll put just how many you have and detail exactly what they are. Speaking of, getting on the market. There's a form for that. We'll get to the form in a minute, but this is where you need to decide a lot of things to be finalized. What the product is exactly, how much it's going to be sold for, how many if it's a limited stock item. Get a good picture of it. There's a lot we can do here, but it's a very important detail because once it gets submitted to financial, it's on the site. Advertising. Now, the Club Hub will remind people that the eMarket exists occasionally, but this is a great time for your club to go through a lot of the same fundraising motions, but now to have a place to direct people to buy things. So we'll have the portal for the eMarket where people can actually make purchases, but if you want to make social media posts to tell people about it, this is a place for you to get creative. And then we're going to talk about how to handle sales. Now again, the money is going to go into your account immediately. If you have to pay for the materials or the printing, that means that you have to be very cognizant of what money in your account you can spend and what you can't. So it's going to be very important that your budgeting officer is keeping an eye on this. We'll have special trainings and whatnot available for that, and as always, the Club Hub is available for questions. If you do all of that, profits. So let's get into more detail. Designing the product. This is the time for you to be creative and think about what it's for. So it's easy to think of products and just slap a club logo on it and sell it. But this is also a good time to think of how to expand your club's brand, essentially. If it's a shirt with a logo on it, that's going to sell well to club members and sometimes parents. But if you're a club that's focused on sustainable resources, you could sell that sell things that are related to that through the portal, which will work both to spread your club's message and get people interested. And then this is a step where you think about what you need to make it happen. Are you going to be working with print services? What material costs do you need in order to make what you're going for if you're making it yourself? Do we need to do an activities council request? This is where you need to think about this step. Then in making the product, a step that's very easy to miss in group assignments is who's making it. If you're designing it and whatnot through the Publicity Center, a lot of those questions will be answered there. But if you're making it in-house, it's very important to think about exactly who's going to make it. What is the process? If you're making candles and only one candle gets ordered, well, you can't exactly make that a club meeting because it's one candle. So try to think about how you're dividing up the labor and what your plans there are. What processes do you need? Again, this is activities council requests. This are things like when you get the report, what is follow-up information you need? Since we're going to be sending most of these out for delivery, what information do you need to gather to make sure that they get their product? Also, do you need proof of purchases? This is especially true for things like tickets and membership dues, things like that. Then, the Publicity Center. I'm going to plug them a lot in this presentation because they are the first step you should be doing this whole process, and honestly, you'll be working with them a lot. A reminder, the Publicity Center is free this year for clubs, so please use them. Then getting on the market. This step's easy. You do a form, just one form. Here's a link to said form. We'll have this link available on Win as well. And, well, I guess the form itself is going to live on Win, isn't it? Either way, you'll find it there under eMarket registration. Now you want to do this form after the publicity request. This is especially important because if you're working through printing and whatnot, it might be easy to assume prices wrong. So work with the people who will know how things are going to be priced because they'll know how much is going in. Again, If you're not working with Publicity Center because you're making it yourself, or you're selling from a stock, or honestly any questions, you can contact the Club Hub and we'll work with you. You get one picture per product for the portal. I know it's not great, especially considering how much variability you can have in your product, but that's all we've got space for. So try to think of what picture would best represent it. Now, a little bit here, I've had a few clubs who are going to work on making their own club site or provide a link directly to their club portal from their Facebook. If you want to go wild with advertising on your own social media or your own site or even your win page, go for it. It's just one picture per product on the portal itself. And again, reach out for help. There's no such thing as a dumb question here. This is a brand new process, so if you're even a little bit, not even confused, just cautious, please reach out. Advertising. Make sure you advertise. It's very important that you advertise your products. We can put them on the store, we'll plug things in the newsletter and whatnot, but if everything goes according to plan, there will be so many things on this shop that the Club Hub cannot advertise for each individual thing. So that's a little bit on you. Here's the link to the site itself. Again, this link will be on Win. We'll make it work. And then be ready to go. Like, to answer questions. When the report comes in that says how many things get bought, be ready to make them. It is, well, I'm sure anybody who's spent time in the early days of Etsy or GoFundMe knows how frustrating it is to buy something and then not get it. Let's not do that, all right? So then, how to handle sales. First off, the money goes into your account, just immediately. The second the customer hits the confirm order, their card gets charged, your club gets the money. But the sales report will come out monthly. Currently, that is set up to be the first Tuesday of the month, which means, technically, if someone were to buy something, let's say, the Wednesday after that, the first Wednesday of the month, you as a club won't get a report of what's been ordered until next month's Tuesday. Now, this is something that is subject to change, especially as we get more clubs and thus more orders going on. But in an attempt to save money and maximize club profit, a 1 month report is what we got. Now, the way that'll work is the Club Hub will receive the report that includes everything that's been bought on the store. Then it will be broken apart and each club will receive an email that details what got bought for that club. So on the form, you'll see a place to put your point of contact. This is exceptionally important that that person be checking their email. If you've got a club email, use that. You know, it's very important that people keep an eye on this. Publicity request orders will need to get started by the club immediately. So going back to the t-shirt example, let's say you use the Publicity Center to design a t-shirt, okay? So you find out that you're going to be selling your t-shirts for $12 a piece. Now you didn't order any because you don't want to have to worry about storage, which is what we're going for here. So, and then Tuesday rolls around and you find out people ordered 6 shirts. 3 extra large, 2 large, and a medium. What you're going to do as a club past that is then go back to your publicity request and say, okay, I had 6 shirts ordered. Here's the details. Here's where they need to go. Which brings me to shipping. If it is something you're working through the Publicity Center on, shipping could be handled in-house. This is something that needs to be talked with about during the design process, because there's a few different ways that could be handled. Okay? If it's something you're making yourself, you are on the edge for shipping. Now, I'm actually promoting people to put the shipping cost in the price cost because the portal will not charge for shipping and handling. It just won't. And you can be reimbursed from your club for shipping. You can even fill out an expenditure request to have to pay for shipping directly. So no person should be on the hook for paying for shipping. That'll be handled through this process, through your club. Profit. You've done all these steps, you're making money. That's what we like to see. Take a minute to congratulate yourself. And then, I don't know, is it time to expand your selection? I know you've got, maybe t-shirts on the menu. Maybe, you want to put some stickers on there. Maybe you actually want to do a club water bottle. Maybe you want to get creative and think of something that'll sell your club brand. This is your time to think about it. Because if everything goes according to plan, once this is set to be a process, it's easy to maintain. Which, speaking of, remember to think sustainably while you do this. You want to be making sure that you're selling things for an adequate amount of money. And that means both to make it worth it and also to actually pay for your materials. I've seen fundraisers where people charged a low price because they have a bulk amount of whatever material on hand already. Well, what happens when that runs out? General tip, people don't like it when you raise prices, even if the reasoning makes sense. And then we're going to talk about our plans for the future. So first off, we want to expand the markets. Okay. As of this presentation, we have one club that is actively on the market. Congratulations, NSSLHA. And we'd like to see more. This is the first online club eMarket that I've seen for colleges, and how cool would it be if we could make it great? On that note, the Club Hub is always taking input. This is something that we're sort of, making while using. So if you think of anything that might be a good idea for us to try, bring it up. And then as sales pick up, reports will become more common. As mentioned, as we're starting out, once a month seems to be ideal because when you're making things, bulk orders make materials cheaper, which in turn turns into more profit for the club. If that ends up not working, we can change it sooner. And as I said, as sales pick up, reports will need to be more common. In a perfect world, if everything goes according to plan, they'll become weekly. And that's it. So I hope this presentation made a little bit of sense. As always, you can message us at as.clubs@ww.edu or find us in the Club Hub when it's back open, and we will be more than happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or opinions that you may have. As always, I hope you all are having a great day, and we keep things working. Ciao.